Here we are in the final days of Advent, preparing for the celebration of the birth of Christ and running around to do all the things for Christmas. If your life is anything like mine right now, it has competing voices and tasks all vying for your attention and energy, and that can be overwhelming. And as the days inch closer to Christmas, it becomes increasingly more difficult to stay rooted in prayerful preparation for the birth of Christ. But the daily readings are a beautiful reminder of the faithfulness of God in the midst of the chaos of life, something the Lord knew we could use a reminder of as we prepare to celebrate Him. The prophet Jeremiah speaks to a wounded and scattered people with a promise that steadies the heart. I will raise up for David a righteous branch. This king will not rule by domination or self-interest, but by justice and righteousness. In a world wearied by dysfunctional leadership and broken trust, God promises a shepherd who will lead, protect, and restore. The name given to this promised ruler, the Lord our justice, reveals that salvation is not something we can manufacture. It is actually God's own faithfulness made visible throughout history. Psalm 72 then echoes this hope by describing the character of such a king, one who judges with justice, defends the poor, rescues the oppressed, and shows mercy to those in need. True authority in God's kingdom is measured not by power, but by compassion. We are reminded that when God reigns, the most vulnerable are not forgotten, and praise rises naturally from lives that have been lifted up. Matthew's gospel then reveals how this ancient promise is fulfilled, not in spectacle, but in quiet obedience. Joseph, described simply as a righteous man, embodies the justice Jeremiah foretold. Faced with fear and confusion, Joseph listens to the angel's words and chooses to trust in God rather than take matters into his own hands. By naming the child Jesus, he accepts a mission larger than himself to welcome God's saving work into his own life and into the world. Emmanuel, God with us, is not an abstract idea, but a reality embraced through faithful, costly love. Together, these readings invite us to reflect on how God's justice comes to fruition through promises kept, compassion exercised, and obedience lived in the ordinary. As we await to welcome Christ anew, we are asked to make room for Emmanuel by trusting God's plan, caring for those in our lives who may be forgotten in the midst of our to-do lists, and inviting God's guiding presence, not our need to control, to inform our discernment and relationships. May God bless you and your families.